What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. I'm Harrison and you are here for Tutorial Tuesday. What is Tutorial Tuesday? Tutorial Tuesday is every single week I teach you how to draw some of your favorite characters. This week we are drawing the cutest little baby in all of Star Wars, and that is the child, Grogu.
I see the little guy.
I am very excited for this one today, so grab your pencils, papers, pens, sketchbooks, Mandalorian armor, and little frogs, and let's jump on into this one. So right in the center of your page, just about maybe 2/3 of the way up, we're gonna draw an oval. This is gonna be Baby Grogu's head, and then right below that we can draw a box. But your box is gonna wanna be a little curved with a little like stretched out U swoop at the bottom. This is gonna be Grogu's clothing. Grogu is pretty compact. There's not a lot going on here. Pretty much aside from his ears, we're gonna stay within this shape. And speaking of his ears, we can go ahead and just dash those in. He's kind of got big floppy ears. And from the top of the head to pretty much right where his head shape meets his body shape, you can go ahead and draw a triangle. And then the same thing for the other side, but because he's in 3/4, it's going to be a little smaller. So this should be your general shaping of Grogu. And from here, we can start adding in the details. So his right eye is going to be about right there. And we're just gonna add a circle for now. His eyes are not exact circles. They're almost like almond shape. For now, we're just going to plot out where we're going to put some of our details. If we jump around a bit, we can add in the collar for his cloak, which is going to swoop up over the face. We're essentially making a big rectangle. And this one's going to go the opposite direction and swoop down and pretty much intersect there. And now we can indicate his little hands. So first thing we're gonna wanna do is from the corner of this part of the collar, just split it in half. Just for now, this is gonna be the guy line. We're gonna finesse this line, but we just wanna know where we're gonna plot his hands. So about halfway in this section of the square, go ahead and draw a little circle, and then same thing right there. And this is going to be his hands. Now moving back into our details, we can start adding some of the facial features. So as I was saying, the eyes are almond shaped, so we wanna bring these to a point. Keep in mind that this one on the left side of the paper is going to be a bit smaller than the one on the right side of the paper. And then just in the center of this, if not off center, if we think of this line as the center, his nose will be just a touch off center. And you're gonna draw a triangle shape, but it's not closed at the bottom. And then we can give our baby Grogu a little smile. And then don't forget some eye folds. We're gonna add a highlight. Add the highlight there. And then we can shade in that eye. And now to drop in some detail for the ears. From here at the tip of the ear, you're gonna follow this shape all the way to the base of the head circle. So you're just gonna make a sloping curve. And then you can also follow that same exact shape on this side as well. But from the tip of the ear right to the base of the head. And then because on this side, his head is going to be blocking a good amount of this ear, we can solidify that head shape. And then we're gonna add some wispies and his wrinkles. And then this line will curve down. It's gonna curve down a little bit further than our initial ear shape. And then from here, we want the tip of the ear to swoop up. Just like that. And then this one will bow out ever so slightly like that. You can then mimic the same shape on this side. So from starting at the tip of the ear, we'll swoop down and then swoop up. And then the same thing on the base, we'll swoop inwards. And then something to note is that this part of the ear will connect almost to, if not exactly to, the collar. You don't need to worry about the side of his head on this one. If you wanted to, you could indicate like a separation, but it's not necessary here. Now we can focus back on the hands. So at the base of this circle that we made, you're gonna cut it off, just like so. And then use the circle as a guideline. And that will give us Grogu's sleeves. Now that I'm looking at it, they're a bit low. It looks kind of odd. Should be more up here. And then for his hands, you're just gonna draw a few little mountain range triangles, nothing too crazy. And then some detail for the collar, so we can solidify this line here. And then you're gonna swoop down, swoop out, and back in, just so that there's some shape to it. And then we can do the same thing to this side, solidify that top line, have this cut over the ear, swoop in, swoop out, and back over. And then this front of the collar, you can just round in, and then we can connect these lines there. Now for the rest of the body, we can just follow our guidelines, solidify that. Cut that off, and then following this shape, you can just round that off. And coming back to the center fold of his little cloak here, we can curve inward almost like an S shape so that there is some form to it. If you notice that there is some shaping to the rest of Grogu here, it all follows that same S shape. So keep that in mind when doing the center cloth fold. And that's it. This is our Grogu. It's super simple, super straightforward. You could leave your drawing like this if you want to. You could lightly erase all of your pencil lines. If you want to leave it with some sketchy lines just to show how you work through your process, you can. But you know me, we're gonna ink this thing. So for today with the inking, we're gonna do something a bit different. We're gonna use some different fine liners. So if you don't have a dip pen, you can rest assured that you can definitely follow along with this one. Just get a few different fine liners. I am going to be using a 0.8 on the outline, a thinner felt tip for the interior details, and then I'm going to be using a green one for a little outline of Grogu's skin. So using our 0.8 fine liner, I'm going to be outlining all of the clothing, starting left to right, top to bottom, as always. We're just going through slowly, precisely. And I'm leaving some of these lines uninked on purpose. I'm going to come back in with the felt tip. And then for the eyes, we can come back to the thicker one to fill in this area. And now for the green felt tip, but what I'm gonna do is wait for this to dry. I wanna wait that 15 minutes for this to set and dry so that I can erase the pencils so that the green actually comes out and is not all muddied by the pencil lines. Using my kneaded eraser, I'm gonna go in and lightly erase these lines. You can see why waiting that 15 to 20 minutes is so important. I think I just need to give up on this fine liner. I don't think this fine liner likes this sketchbook. It always seems to smudge. So moving forward, we will not be using this one in this sketchbook ever again. I am just going in soft circles throughout the entire piece. I don't want to rip or tear the page. I'm just trying to lift up any of the pencil markings we did prior. Now, using my green felt tip marker, we're just going to go through and outline this entire process. And then we can also do his little fingers as well. Now, using the black felt tip, I will go in and just adjust any of the black that we inked down prior that got lifted up from erasing. And then to just clean up this, I'm using my Presto Jumbo Correction Pen. I find that this is the best whiteout when it comes to fixing your artwork. You have such control. You squeeze the body of it and it flows through the tip here and it writes just like a pen. So you have just super fine control over how much of it comes out of the tube. And I also find it's great for highlights, and it's the best. And here we have it. Here is Grogu. I love it. I was actually very nervous of what would happen when I was gonna outline it in just all green. I know in the past we've done some like effects in different colors, like with Ghastly we did the purple outline, but this is cool. I really like this. I think Grogu is so cute, and this is kind of a more cartoony version of Grogu, so it's not super screen accurate, but I do love this. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and once you do, hit that bell notification so you know when I upload the next. If for some reason you did not enjoy today's lesson, please let me know in the comments why. Is there something that I can do better to help you learn to draw the characters that you want to know how to draw? And on that note, if there's a character that you would like to know how to draw and have yet to see on the playlist, please let me know who that character is and I will gladly add them to our ongoing list. If you've been following along with Tutorial Tuesday for the last 6 months, I would love to see the progress that you're making. Please tag me in all of your work on Instagram or on TikTok, and I would love to see all the things that you're doing. You can also follow me there and see all the things that I'm doing day to day, as well as some of the other tips and tricks I am posting daily. Thank you so much for joining me on another fun Tutorial Tuesday. I will see you next week with another one. Thanks for joining me. Bye.
No, Grogu. Not a pet.
No, a squeezy. Not squeeze, not squeeze. Bad baby. Oh, it's bad.
Sorry about that. He's young.
Bad baby.
No, Grogu.